going on? What to talk about today? Let me close. 1 second. Let me post my live on Discord. Okay. 1 second. Hold on. Sup. Almost forgot something. Almost forgot something. Oh, it does let me make this window smaller. Come on. Work with me here. There we go. There we go. Let's. All that's fine. Let's do this. We're gonna get started in just 1 second. In just 1 second. Okay. What's going on, everyone? Are we going to have a named storm? What do we think? Hey, Steel, $2 super chat. Yo, Connor, how's Northeast Ohio looking like for Wednesday? Steel, I really appreciate that. Thanks for the support. I appreciate that. Northeastern Ohio, we'll look at that. We'll take a look at it for Wednesday. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. Give me 1 second. So, let's, well, here's Wednesday, right? Here is Wednesday. So, Ohio is in that slight and in that enhanced. Northeastern Ohio, just in a marginal. Not too bad. Take a look at a probabilistic. That SIG or significant severe weather is expected to be out in west central Ohio. Is my thing working up here? Let me see. No, not working. I'd have to reload this. It's fine. So we're not going to get alerts right now. At most, tropical cyclone or depression. Yeah. I mean, I think we could get to a tropical storm, but probably depression. So let's take a look at this. Here's the latest from the Rufus. We'll just look at our updraft helicity first. All right, the latest Rufus. And we're on 18Z. 00Z is loading, but it's not fully loaded through yet, so we're going to have to go with the 18Z. Some strong cells start firing off. Southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois at around 11 a.m. on Wednesday. We'll take a look at the parameters, too, not just future reflectivity. Second wave at around 2 to 3 p.m. in the same area. Then these start to push off to the east. Early evening, we start to get some storms potentially pushing off towards Ohio through northern Indiana. And then you get a little bit of a Q. What the heck? Something's in my mouth. And then you get a little bit of a QLCS out there. Forming from Chicago down through central Illinois, through central Missouri. This is early evening. So we're watching this region here. You see some cells firing off up in this region as well, though. So there you go. Now storm starts pushing to northern Ohio late in the evening. This looks like a late evening, especially for northeastern Ohio. It's going to be very late if you get anything, or it's going to be a complete nocturnal threat. I think the flooding is going to be the worst thing that happens in northeast Ohio. Maybe some small hail, light wind, 60-mile-per-hour gusts. But I'm not too worried about it right now. It could be upgraded. Let's take a look at the latest HRRR. Were we just looking at the Rufus? That's the Rufus. I want to look at the HRRR here. So I think we have the 00Z. We do 00Z HRRR. All right, here we go. We get into Wednesday morning. Again, storms firing through this region here. Doesn't look like anything too crazy. This is when things start to get interesting on the HRRR as we get into the early evening, and that's as far as the latest HRRR goes. More of a QLCS. Could be a little bit of a, could be some vorticity along this line, so maybe a little bit of a tornado threat. But we're going to see what the SPC does, Storm Prediction Center, for our tornado risk zone, wind risk zone, hail risk zone tomorrow, because we're going into our day 2, right? So we'll see what they do. We will see what they do. If you guys want to actually take a look at the parameters, let's do this. I'm going to, which display is this? I'm going to switch something. Give me a second here. I'm going to get a display up here so I can switch it on easily. Let me switch display. Let's change this to, give me a second, guys. Nope. That'll work. Let's change that to that. Go up. Okay. So I can turn this on and off now. All right, let me make this full screen. Interesting stuff happening. This is the HRRR. This is as far out as we can go. Take a look at this. Look at this 500 millibar jet streak, top left screen. Holy smokes. 100, almost 115 knots, 112 there. Almost 115 knots. How fast is that, guys? Like 130, 135 miles per hour at the 500 millibar level. What's probably more impressive is the almost 90 knot winds at the 850. Almost 90 knot winds at the 850, bottom left. If we take a look at where we have these converging, this is the strongest jet streak at the 850. Look at the 500 here. A little bit of a warm boundary right through here. And then our dew points are actually pushing up like this. Right now, this is our area to watch. Right there. Right there. It looks crazy on the HRRR. I'm taking a look at the other screen. Oh, yeah, that's basically what they have circled. I mean, that's basically... I don't know that they'll change. Right now, based off the latest 00Z HRRR, that area I circled is literally where they have that 45% wind risk. Or 45% probabilistic SIG-1 risk. And I completely agree with that. Again, bottom left screen, strongest 850 low-level jet is here, converging with the most intense 500 millibar jet, which is right there. But you have your warm boundary a little bit further to the south. Again, highest dew points down here. So this is going to be the area to watch. You can see there's your kinks in your isobar right here, your shortwave troughs developing right here. So you guys have to remember how, and I think, and I'll answer your questions, but let me explain. Yeah, we'll probably get a mod risk. I think so. Here's why shortwaves are important. This air at the 500 millibar level, if it's not running into crazy spinny air or crazy updrafts, it's just flowing like a nice little stream, right? If you were to throw a bunch of rocks out ahead of a stream, though, that water would start to, it'd start to turn into white water, get rapidy, it'd get messy. Well, this low-level jet, bottom left screen, is pulling tons of moisture off of the Gulf and tons of heat. And it's thrown it up here into this cold air, top right screen, into this cold air. And so now you have rapidly rising air, rapidly sinking air. So now you have strong updrafts. And at the same time, bottom left screen, that southwesterly flow is meeting with the top left screen. Westerly flow, that's creating rotation. Now you have strong updrafts, rotation, and this air that just wants to flow freely without being disrupted is now running into extremely turbulent air. And that causes our heights to drop significantly. So now instead of your simple pressure change at the 500 level, these levels drop off, right? You get localized low pressures forming, strong lift, and your isobars start to collapse. Now you don't have a nice flow anymore. Now your flow is completely screwed up because someone threw a bunch of rocks in the stream out ahead. So significant short waves showing up through this region here. The one thing that I don't love, I mean, well, it's actually good if you don't want to have bad weather, but this is like an extremely diffuse warm boundary. Let me see if I can actually pick apart where it even is. I mean, the boundary is like in here, like right through there, which I get, like, which could cause the worst weather to end up being much farther south than what's being thought right now, right? This is what they're thinking right now, but I mean, if that happens, we could have severe weather much further south. This whole thing could shift south if we don't get enough warm air advection. That's just a pretty word for, or a complicated word for warm air flowing further to the north. We need this warm air transfer a little bit further to the north, where those most significant short waves are going to be, our jet streaks, as well. So, interesting setup. Not everything is placed perfectly, in my opinion, but it's placed good enough to get a moderate risk right now, and we're still going to see things change. Last thing I want to do before I get to questions is Rufus. How does the Rufus see this? Let's go on the Rufus and take a look at the 18Z. 00Z still loading in. Almost done, though. Here's the Rufus. Here's how it sees it. All right, let's go kind of toward main event. Look at the warm air advection on the Rufus. Much higher. Look at our warm boundary. It's up here. Remember, on the Euro, it was down here. So much stronger warm air advection on the Rufus. Not surprising. The Rufus is much more aggressive. Here's our significant jet streak. Here's our significant jet streak. Here's our dew points. Good dew points. Warm boundary is going to be here. You see where they're all crossing right here. The Rufus looks better. The Rufus looks like what they're going off of here. I don't think they are, but that makes more sense. There's just not... Warm air isn't advecting far enough north on the HRRR. They both could go moderate, though. They both... There's an argument for both of these to go high risk. I just don't think they will, but they both could go moderate. All right, and last thing before I get to questions, here is our tropical plume of moisture, and it is almost over the ocean. Now, it doesn't need to be fully over the ocean, by the way, before it starts trying to strengthen or going through TCG, tropical cyclogenesis. There's actually the main spin right there. You can see it right in the beginning. Or it's trying to. Or it's actually right here, I think. I think it's right here. You've got kind of like, look at this. So it's pulling. You have to remember, this is a low pressure system. So it's... winds are going like this, so it's pulling moisture off of the Gulf right now. And you can tell, by the way, because it's nighttime, because the sun's going down, the air in the upper atmosphere is beginning to cool, and that's allowing the system to vent out. A lot of times you can go through rapid intensification right as soon as the sun goes down with tropical systems. So you have to remember, the center of a tropical system is going to be a low pressure, but the entire up high above the tropical system, this entire thing is a high pressure, and that it wants to vent out. It wants to pull up moisture and instability and all that heat and all that heat and moisture in the center, and then it wants to build those clouds up, and then it wants to fan and clear out the air above the storm so it can keep running. So that's what's happening now. It's pulling in moisture. It looks actually, this is a very impressive pocket of convection, much more impressive than it looked earlier in the day. Let's look at the sandwich radar. Let's look at it. It's much more impressive, in my opinion, than it looked earlier in the day. You can see, actually, the sandwich is good. You can literally see, I think we're right in here somewhere. But as soon as this gets out over the waters, these waters are very warm. If this thing skirts like this, it's not going to obviously go through TCG. If it gets right over here, we could get a tropical storm. There's the European operational and the European AI both have a couple of runs that put this thing down to a 980 to a 970. That would be a Cat 1 or Cat 2 hurricane making landfall in southern Louisiana. But it's only like 3 of their 50 members. So the odds of that aren't very high. But I'm just saying. There's a chance. Mezzo, what's going on? 0-0-Z makes me sick to my stomach. HRRR. The jet is going absolutely wild on that, Matt. Insane. Just for those of you who don't know, yeah, 50% chance of tropical cyclone formation in the next 48 hours here. This is really important. I need to show you, and actually, Matt, I want to show you something real quick. Sorry. But national blend, you guys need to look at this. This is unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable. Look at this total quantitative precipitation. I'll make my face bigger so you can see me react. Look. What is this? Let's go out a week. No, we don't even know. Let's just go out to Saturday. Let's just go out to Saturday. Let's just go out to Friday night. What is this? 12 inches of rain? A wide swath of 5 to 10 inches of rain, pretty much, in here. This is 8 inches, 8.5, 7. You've got some 10s, 11s in here, 8s, 7s. This is wild. I saw my friend just moved to Houston, and she was like, people say that this happens at the same time every year. Or at the same time every year. I'm like, this could be a little bit more significant than anything we've seen in the recent memory. Just based on how much water's falling into such a short period of time. Yeah, Matt, are you looking at that 850 jet and the HRRR 00Z? Is that what you're talking? Is that what you're concerned about? Because that looks crazy to me. I don't want to lock these. No, we don't need to lock model. Don't need to lock that. We don't need to lock any of those. Let me see. HRRR 00Z severe. No, upper air. Like, look at that. What? All right, 90 knots. What do we got? Like 105, 110 mile per hour winds. Whipping in our low-level jet. Just insanity. Straight insanity. Wild. Look at that. Look at this jet streak at the 500 millibar that's meeting it. Look at that. I will say, Matt, I was saying though, our warm boundary is like down here. On the HRRR, it's up here on the Rufus. There's a lot more warm air advection on the Rufus. No, yeah. It's much further north. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with our temperatures up here. But this is just bad. Yeah. Oh, man. You know what I haven't done? I haven't taken any soundings. I might have to. Guys ready to have some fun? Kankakee, Illinois for Wednesday. Stay updated. That's all I'm going to say. Let's wait. We need to get a lot more. We need to get the data tomorrow. We need to get new model runs. Right now, you should just be staying updated because clearly it's a significant day. We already have a 45% sig 1. It looks like we're going to go moderate. Why is this not moving? 1 second. What is going on? Hello, Sigtor. Why is this not moving? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. There we go. I see. I see. Okay. 00Z, Sigtor. All right, I want to see this. Let's pull something out of here. Look at these. 8.3, 9.1, 9.2. Look at that hodograph. Oh, hold up. I'm going to pull that again. Look at that. Capping. There is going to be some weird advection going on, but warm air advection. I don't know if it's going to get far enough up north. There's going to be some weird stuff going on with the temperatures in the lower and the middle of the atmosphere. There's a possibility we have some capping issues, but that's a nice curved hodograph. What is happening in here? Maxed out. Sigtor Param. Really not much inhibition here. Not a ton of instability, but there's enough. 1,000 joules per kilogram. Extremely moist. Low levels. Very rounded off. Hodograph. 373 storm relative helicity down at the surface. That's just violent rotation. Violent rotation. At 579 from the 0 to 1 kilometer. And then you have 40 knot shear down at the surface. So this is an extremely high shear, rotating, violent sounding with not a ton of instability. That changes, though, if the Rufus is right about that warm air advection, and that warm air gets a little bit further north because it's the temperature of the air. That is the only reason right now that we don't have more instability right here. We don't have more convective potential energy. That is a violent shear, violent rotational shear, all up and down here. Let's take a sounding right here. All the hodographs are like a sight to behold, if I'm being honest. And then you obviously go from a southerly flow to a straight westerly flow from the low level to the 500 millibar. So still 30 knot shear, almost 200 SRH down here in southern, as we get down towards southern Indiana. So, I mean, pretty impressive. Crazy loop-de-loop hodograph here. Not much inhibition. Lots of storm relative helicity. Over 30 knot shear down at the surface. 1,600 joules per kilogram of Cape. So pretty impressive. I'll take a sounding near Kankakee since someone asked about that. All right. The HRRR. Yeah. Huge curve. Lots of inhibition here. This is probably just because it's earlier in the day. 407 storm relative helicity and almost 40 knot shear at the surface. The shear is, this is a high shear, high vorticity day. That's not going to be the issue. The issue here is going to be warm air advection. Does the warm air get far enough to the north? Do the dew points get far enough to the north? Do we have enough advection from our low level jet? Which you would think we did. We do, because it's going to be pumping at 90 knots. It's just, there's a little bit of an issue with the moisture transport, I think, from the south. And we have that big low-level jet up to the north that's going to be supplying cold air, trying to keep that warm air advection and those dews pushed to the south. That cold, dry air to the north is going to be fighting it. I'm not saying, well, did I say I hope it goes to the north? I said, if we want anything out of this, that it has to go to the north. I'm being honest. If the HRRR is right and our warm boundary is down here, we could have a little bit of a dud of a day, I think. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Quincy, Illinois, you have family there? Where's Quincy? What part of the state is it in? West side of Indianapolis is going to be bad. Pay attention. You got some good SIG tours out there on Wednesday. So you guys are in a SIG 1 already. So, look at this curved photograph. No inhibition here. Good enough surface shear and almost 200 SRH. So, this is a sounding right to the west. This is a sounding right to the west of Indianapolis at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. That could be representative of a strong EF2 plus, or that could produce a strong EF2 plus tornado. Look at the photograph here. That's just the west of, yeah. Plenty of instability, plenty of rotation, plenty of shear, plenty of velocity. So you got to pay attention out there. Just a reminder, this is what we're working with here. So Indianapolis is in that 45% SIG 1, and this is probably going to be upgraded, I think. Well, could be upgraded. I don't know if we could, like, if we get if our dews and warm air advect far enough to the north, like, I could see a a Sig 3 in here. Like somewhere up here. Potentially for wind. Potentially for wind. I mean, honestly, I don't think for a torque. Well, maybe. There's going to be a lot of rotation. I don't know about a Tor Sig 3. Yeah. West Central. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. I know. Okay, yeah. I've seen Quincy a lot. Yeah, I mean, 45% Sig 1. We could take a look at that. Let's see if we can get some soundings out of there earlier in the day. Look at this passing over Quincy. Decent looking Sig Tor here. Not bad. I mean, the winds are whipping. They're strong. They're very strong. No surprise. A ton of cape. Almost 3,500 joules per kilogram of just surface cape. It's 27 knot shear at the surface is good. Almost 200 SRH. This is a, hazard type tornado. Pretty volatile. Pretty volatile environment there. There's no capping. There's no inhibition either. So look at that. It's a pretty good sounding. Sig Tor Param 4.0. Fixed Sig Tor Param 4.0. Supercell Composite 12. Not bad. What are our lapse rates? Not crazy. It's going to be an all hazards day for sure. I could see us going Sig 2 for both wind and tornadoes. Hail's going to be interesting because it's all going to depend on where our warm boundary sets up. Like, we need that warm air to advect much further to the north if we're going to have, I think, a large hail day up here. Although we'd need that for wind as well, because stronger updrafts mean stronger downdrafts. Yeah, it's an all hazards day though. When we're talking like look at this. We're talking dews up into the 70s in northern Indiana and through central Illinois. We're talking a ridiculously strong low-level and mid-level jet. And if we get these 80s advecting a little further to the north, yeah, we're Sig 2 in all hazards at least. So we'll see. There's still time for this to downtrend or uptrend. So, this is Wednesday. This isn't even tomorrow. This is Wednesday. Evansville. Yeah, like I said, if the warm air does stay much further to the south, we could see this. We could see this risk zone shift south. I don't think you would put Evansville in a very dangerous situation, but you guys could end up being in an enhanced Sig 1 or something if this drops a little bit. If our jet LLJ drops a little bit and that warm air advection stays south, they might move the risk zone down a little bit to the south. We'll have to see. I'm using Weatherfront, and it's awesome because it has good satellite radar and models. I love the models on here. So anyways, but yeah, here's what's going on. I actually kind of want to show you some stuff here. I shouldn't be locked in. Let's get, there we go. So here we go. Here's the latest satellite. This thing is trying to get out over open ocean. Center of the lows right about there. Once it gets out here, we have warm waters, deep waters. You know what? Let me do this. Let's take a look at, and for anyone who missed it, this is what I'm concerned about. I don't care about a tropical storm or hurricane, even if it forms. That's as high as it's going to get. Maybe a Cat 1. Although I doubt we're even going to get that. It's going to be hard for this thing to become a tropical depression. It's going to be so close to shore, and it's not going to spend much time over the open ocean. And then it's going to have our kind of jet pick it up and sling it off the coast pretty quickly. That's going to be a lot of shear to the north, and it's going to mess with it. This is what I'm concerned about. This is what I'm concerned about. This just right here, I mean, how far out are we? This just right here is 60 hours out. This is less than 3 days of rainfall. We're seeing areas showing 10 to 11 inches of rainfall along the coast here. This is crazy. And this is just widespread. Just widespread. 6 to 10 inches of rainfall across this region in a very short period of time. This is what's dangerous. I can't remember the last time that I saw. Oh, yeah. By the way, here's our temperature outlooks and precipitation, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I was trying to show you. I can't remember the last time I saw this. Okay. We have 4 moderate excessive rainfall days in a row. Not only that, look at Houston. Day 1, day 2, day 3, and then almost in the moderate again on day 4. You know what area is in 4 days of moderates? This area of Louisiana. Is there anyone who lives out here? Lake Charles, Lafayette, out to Lake Charles, and everyone just to the north and just to the south. You guys are literally in 4 straight days of moderate excessive rainfall outlooks. That is not good. Low-lying areas, flood-prone areas, it's not, could they flood? They're going to flood. They're going to flood. This tropical moisture is down here, and it's going to get lifted. Let's take a look here. And it's going to get lifted. Here's our jet stream right here. And you can already see parts of this tropical moisture being pulled across the southeast. This whole plume is going to get lifted and just peeled. It's going to get peeled apart, and all that moisture is going to slowly make its way up into the northeast. And I actually want to show you that on a different... Let me show you it like this. Let me show you it like this. Is this the 00Z? Only going 41 hours out. That's fine. Let's take a look at... Just look at this. You're going to have a funnel of moisture, and this jet to the north is just going to begin peeling up apart that tropical system, and it's just going to continuously funnel for days moisture across this region. We're talking about like potentially 24 to 48 hours of just heavy nonstop rainfall. So Connor, it might be a tropical depression or a tropical storm, but if not, it'll be a good rainmaker. Oh, it's gonna be a good rainmaker. Yeah, it could end up bringing some nice winds with it, but we'll see. Yeah, I would say even if it doesn't go through tropical cyclogenesis, even if we don't get a tropical storm, expect 40+ mile/hour gusts. You're gonna have tropical gusts with this. It's a tropical low, and it's already intensifying. You can see on the satellite. It's the upper atmosphere began to cool tonight, and it got a nice big plume of moisture now beginning to bubble up. Let's go back to the dirty infrared. Love looking at this thing. Look at that. So, but yeah, the 4 straight days of moderate rainfall. Houston's in 3 of them. Lake Charles is in 4 straight. Pretty intense. What's my map on Weatherfront? What do you mean? Which one? I think Max's. It's the only... I like the dark ocean and light land. It's the only one that has it. You have to have a contrast between your ocean and your land. I like using the broadcast one, but the broadcast one, there's not a good contrast between ocean and land, unfortunately. This one. This is good for like live streaming, like severe weather, live radar, because then the cells show up really good on this, but it's not good for like showing the actual country. What does tomorrow's outlook look like? Sure, let's take a look at that. Tomorrow's outlook. There you go. Little 2% tornado risk. Little 2% tornado risk out here. Indianapolis up to northwestern Ohio. Grand Rapids, you're in there. Chicago. Champaign, Fort Wayne, Lansing. South Bend, just the northwest of Bloomington. Little 2%. No SIG. If you do get a tornado, it shouldn't be stronger than an EF0 or EF1, but make sure you have your alerts on tomorrow. A little bit of a hail risk, a little bit of a wind risk, but not much. Central Ohio Wednesday, you know, the main event's going to be to the west, but we could have like a nocturnal significant wind event pushing through Ohio, right? I could see us having a late night after 10 p.m., maybe even after 12, wind event shoving through Ohio here like this. So that's probably what we're going to be watching. Since I'm south of Atlanta, Georgia, what occasional 30 to 50 yeah, you probably will have occasional 30 to 50 mile per hour gusts. Here, let's take a look at a couple different of our models for this tropical system. The latest icon. Let's take a look at the latest icon. So here we go. And what are we on? Are we on the 0, 0, 0, 0? Here's the latest icon. It does get out over the open water. You've got still not sub 1,000, but you've got a tropical low. Interestingly enough, it starts to move into the deep south, into the southeast, and on some of these models, it strengthens. It strengthens while it's over this region because you get a lot of divergence aloft from this low pulling air away. So are pulling some of that moisture away in the upper atmosphere, but not looking too crazy on the latest icon. Let's take a look. Latest GFS. Only have the 18Z. Latest GFS, what happens? Again, tries to get going. Nothing crazy on the latest GFS. Let's go take a look at the Euro. Latest Euro. 18Z. The Euro has it spinning, getting over the open water, trying to become a depression. The Euro has it strengthening over the southeast. This is what I'm talking about. The Euro has this thing strengthening as it moves over Alabama and Georgia. Likely because that high sitting over the tropical low, we start to get a lot of divergence, and so you start to intensify at the center of the low. Yeah, it strengthens over southern Georgia. I mean, you've got almost a tropical storm coming off the coast here on the Euro, which is really interesting. Look at that. It deepens all the way down to 992. So weird, but that's what's happening on the Euro. I told you, some of these models are showing crazy stuff for this. Let's take a look at the Rufus. Let's see how far we get out. Here's the Rufus with this potential tropical system. The Rufus actually brings us down to 998, 997, 995. I mean, you technically could have a tropical storm on your hands here if the Rufus is correct. It's not handling moisture right, though. We're likely going to have moisture to the north here, but let's look at our PWatt. There we go. Well, that's not what I want. It's not what I want. Let me look at Euro. There we go. And then let's take a look at I'll find what I'm looking for. Don't you worry. I might have to do it on the GFS. If they have it in here. Nope. National Blend, are you going to let me down? National Blend? No. Sorry, guys. 1 second. That's not what I'm looking for. Maybe the GFS. It's all right. Anyways, here, let's go to, I wonder what we have the HRRR00Z. I wonder what that's showing. This may be interesting. Yeah, let's look at this. Here's the latest HRRR. Look at that. Look at that spin on it. Look at the spin on the latest HRRR. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, if this thing's gonna go through TCG, it's gonna need to be a little bit further away from short. It needs deep water. Deep water helps with tropical cyclogenesis. If it floats, stays close to the shore here like the HRRR thinks, we're probably not going to get a tropical system. If it goes further out like the Rufus thinks, we probably will get a little tropical system. Maybe a tropical storm going into southern Louisiana. Yep, but there's a live satellite. I don't need to get into it all, but there's a reason why Radar Omega doesn't have chasers anymore. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I almost deleted it off my computer today. If it even comes to name storms, it will still be pretty weak in the same impacts as if it wasn't. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Houston's going to be fine. I don't expect any sort of crazy surge, any crazy wind, but there's the possibility of some serious flooding in and around Houston. Possibility for some serious flooding in and around Houston. Again, this is just off the national blend. Crazy amounts of rainfall. If we push this all the way out too, some good rainfall coming from portions of the Ohio Valley and Plains as well. But we're watching the southeast right now. Dangerous amounts of rainfall are possible. Once again, just to remind you guys, for anyone who just hopped in here, moderate, 3, 4 moderate excessive rainfall risks in a row. Houston's in 3, and then southern Louisiana is in 4 straight moderate rainfall risks, which is wild stuff. Oh, okay. Well, I think we may have the full 12Z Rufus, so I kind of want to look at that now. Yeah. Yeah, I want to look at that. Give me a second, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's take a look and see if we have the 00Z up to 70 hours. We're good. Let's take a look at this. All right, this is the latest Rufus. Tomorrow, some short waves tomorrow. Look at tomorrow afternoon. Could get something in here, a little bit spicy tomorrow. Your dew points are really low, though. You're not that warm. So, towering supercells, probably not. I mean, although we're warming up later in the afternoon. I don't know. Tomorrow doesn't look that crazy. But you could get 1 or 2 tornadoes out there, weak tornadoes. Okay, here's the latest Rufus. Holy smokes. Look at that 500 millibar jet. And perfectly lining up with our 850. And then our warm boundary is going to be... let's see. 1 second. Give me a second. I'm gonna get zoomed out into the right location. 78. Okay, so there it is. All right, so right through here. Still looks very, yeah, I mean, the Rufus looks wild. This area looks crazy. Warm air advection's a little bit weaker on the latest Rufus model. It kind of looks a little bit more like the HRRR. Still further north, though, than the HRRR. So we're still watching this area on the Rufus right in here. This is just crazy. This is just a crazy low-level jet. We're still showing 90 knots at the low levels and 115 at the mid levels. We're now pushing. Yeah, I mean, the warm air is just struggling to get north, though. Warm air is still struggling to get north, though. That's going to be a difference maker. The dews are a little bit lower now, too. The dews came down on the latest Rufus. Am I crazy? Let me go back to the 18Z. Yeah. Warm air advection and dew points came down on the latest Rufus on our run. The jet still looks just as impressive. The actual low-level jet and mid-level jet is actually even better timed. So the shears is even more impressive with the latest update from the Rufus, but the dew points and temperatures look more sloppy. So uptrend on the shear, downtrend on the instability. There you go. It's getting me nowhere. I'm getting nowhere. We're gonna have to. You know what? I actually should probably get off soon because I want to get up and give updates in the morning too. I gotta get up early, put out a video, go to the gym, go to work. Long day tomorrow morning. North Florida so dry. Yeah, you know, here's you're expected to get some of this rainfall in North Florida. Not a ton. Half an inch to an inch and a half up here. But you can see once you get south of Jacksonville, really not much. Big Bend, south of Jacksonville, Gainesville, not really getting anything. So Tally will get some. Tallahassee. You said that's your main app, Stay Childish? So did you switch? Yes. Marissa, Jasmine, Morgan, Blista, Bella, Jordan, Brad, Tufts, Tanya. Sorry, I've like been so distracted. I usually am like reading gifts and chat more. I'm just like, there's so much craziness going on. Like this is like crazy flooding we could see along the Gulf, and then Wednesday looks wild as well too. And I feel like these both. Well, we knew about the Wednesday threat, but I feel like this tropical system just came out of nowhere. We were looking at a little 10% threat. Now it's a 50% threat, and the amount of precipitation has just shot through the roof over the next few days. Mitch Weather said, what did he say? What was the title of his video today? That escalated quickly. That was the title of his video. And I saw the title of his video and I was like, that's what I should have. I was like, the genius. That's because that's exactly what I thought. I was like, dang, this escalated quickly. Mitch West, yeah. Yeah. You gonna target to chase on Wednesday? We could get something tomorrow. There's good shear tomorrow. You know, it's like a high shear, low instability day up here. So the thing about high shear, low instability is you can get a good tornado to touch down, but how long is that thing going to stay on the ground if it doesn't have, if it's struggling with instability? It's like, it's a tough chase. Appreciate you being in here, Patrick. Appreciate you all being in here. Thank you for showing some love. Appreciate it. Yeah. Anyways, I should probably get off. I want to. It's gonna be tomorrow morning. It's gonna be tough. I want to get up and put out a video tomorrow morning when we get some more updates. This thing could be over the open ocean tomorrow morning. It could be. The positioning of this, it's not even, I think, that big of a deal if it's still a little bit over land. It's pulling in moisture from the ocean right now, but the further out it goes, the deeper water it can tap into. It doesn't have to deal with immediate upwelling. This thing could thrive really quickly. There's a small window this thing could thrive, guys. Anyways, yep, I appreciate you guys. What's going on, Bionic? Of course, I appreciate you being in here. And I'll post another video tomorrow. I should, as long as I can get myself out of bed at 4 a.m. And the Discord will be updated tomorrow like it is today. Don't forget, if you guys want to join my Discord, the link is in the description of any of my YouTube videos. Or you can add Connor's Climb Corner on Discord. All the stuff we talk about in the lives and in my videos, all the updates you want are in my weather Discord. Every single day it's updated. Brand new information. Everything. even volcanoes and earthquake updates. There's a lot of stuff in there. Mods, you're awesome. I will see you guys tomorrow. I probably won't be streaming tomorrow, but you can bet your butt I will be streaming Wednesday. I'll be watching the kids by myself Wednesday, though, so I may not be able to get on until like 8 or 8:30 when they go to bed. But if I do get on then, I'll be streaming throughout the night. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. But I will be posting a video tomorrow on Wednesday because there's so much going on, and I'll be live streaming Wednesday. Did you see the volcano dust Dell videos I posted in Discord? No, I did not, but I will go look at them now. If you do chase, you'll have my feed. Yes, 100%, Patrick. I appreciate that. Seriously. I posted on my X. It's so hard to find any chasers to work with. I appreciate you. I will 100% use your feed and shout you out. Appreciate it. All right, guys. See you. See you. See you on Discord tomorrow, and see you live video action on Wednesday.